Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. My name is Alex, and in this video I'll tell you about an Australian man caught accompanying 6 kids in Cebu, FBI's most wanted American man arrested in Thailand, Israeli tourists cause disturbance in hospital and face deportation, plane crash in the Philippines, a foreign man stands in the parking lot despite vehicle turning to park, an American man and his Thai wife being scammed for over $400,000, plus much more. I have a huge video for you guys today, so sit back, relax, and let's get into it. There's no significant change in the exchange rate, so here's our top story. Members of the Tourist Police Unit Cebu successfully rescued 6 girls from Cebu City and apprehended a 45-year-old Australian national who was accompanying them around 7 a.m. Tuesday, February 4th. According to Police Executive Master Sergeant Yuri Kolnio, police stopped the Australian national after noticing that he was traveling with 6 bound for Bantayan Island. The Australian national is currently residing in a hotel in Cebu City. When questioned, the girls revealed that they had voluntarily joined a foreigner for an island hopping trip. However, when asked to present identification documents such as passport, the foreigner failed to provide any. Further investigation revealed that the foreigner had prior record for of those who are not 18 yet. However, claimed that they were not forced to go with the foreigner and that they had willingly accompanied him. Among the 6 were the youngest was 15 years old and the oldest was 17. Despite the claims of voluntary participation, the police clarified that the act still constitutes violation of the Republic Act 7610 or the Child Law, since the foreigner was traveling with minors who were not his relatives. Quote, they said simply wanted to go island hopping with the foreigner since they had already become friends with him. They convinced him to take them along. The foreigner admitted that he had close relationship with one of the 6 minors, but this individual did not join the trip. The Australian national is now facing legal charges in court, while the 6 have been placed under the custody of the Department of Social Welfare and Development Central Visayas for further intervention. Whoa. Okay, there's going to be a lot of discussion regarding this, I'm sure, as there were in the comment section of the article on Facebook. Let me go ahead and maybe save somebody from a lot of time in prison and hopefully some as well. Okay, so let me not get into the psychological reasoning why people do this. One thing you have to notice, as a man coming to the Philippines, you do not need to engage in these kinds of activities. There are plenty of women are interested, going to want to meet you. And if you got that kind of like feeling towards, let's say you gravitate towards younger generation, whatever excuse or way of spinning it you want to do it, you still got to recognize it's against the law. It doesn't matter why you want to do this. And despite what you feel, that's not the truth. The truth is there's a law you cannot do against it. And in the Philippines, I think I'm going to post it here maybe a little bit if you guys want to read it. But the point is, if they're not your relative, if they're under 18 years old, you should not be with them. And there's of course exceptions, but if you're going to try to find loopholes and all that, you're already in trouble, man. Just stay away from that nonsense. There's no need. There's plenty of women that are interested in dating you. Also, if there's a gap between over 10 years, you cannot be with them. I'm not going to get into the detail of all that. The point is, stop messing around with people that are not 18 years old yet. This is why it's important to always request ID. If the person 19 years old, or if they say they're even 20, whatever your comfort zone is, just request for ID because you never know. And another reason why some condos, actually all the condos, want to see identification when you have guests come over to protect the minor. And maybe even you, because maybe the woman's lying. You can't just take somebody's word for it if they're that young. Because like, let's say someone is in their 20s, right? 25, 26 years old. And it's maybe not a big deal to date a 19-year-old, right? But you don't know if she's actually 19. Anyways, despite all that, leave your comments down below. What do you think of this specific incident? Because the Philippines, one more thing, unfortunately, despite what you want to feel about it, it doesn't have a good reputation when it comes to stuff like this, just because only a few years back, the age of consent was changed because at one point I had the lowest at 12, I believe. But I don't want to get into all that. Don't come at me with that nonsense. The point is, you don't want to give into that stereotype. You don't want to be that foreigner that's walking around with like, come on, man, you got to do better. Oh, one more thing, despite what the women, or the girls I should say, said, it doesn't matter if they voluntarily came. They are not considered a state of mind to be fully mature to know what they want and what they don't want. That's why as an adult, it's your responsibility, right? And also, I'm not trying to like cover for the mans or expats or whatever. I'm giving you my perspective coming from an expat point of view. And women out there, you should definitely not talk to someone that's that much older than you, despite how friendly they might be or what they're offering. And maybe these girls were just covering for him. Said, yeah, we came voluntarily or whatever. So this is where those lines get really gray when it comes to like intent. Regardless, it doesn't, if you have to explain yourself, right? It's already too late, bro. Just go, like sometimes when I play, like even kids play basketball with them or whatever, I'm very careful. Like that, there's a lot of people, it's in public. I don't want to ever be associated with any nonsense like that. So you got to do your part as a traveler as well. And even for my street interviews on my main channel, even though they're simply interviews on the street in public, and a lot of times just random fun things like would you choose love or money, I never put anybody that's not over 18 on the channel. Next up, a video posted on Facebook shows a foreigner standing in a parking slot in SM City Clark in Pampanga, preventing a vehicle from parking. The incident sparked discussion online, with a woman in the video stating that such actions are not allowed. The foreigner remained in place while using his phone. The issue of people reserving parking spots by standing in them has gained attention, leading to the proposal of the Mindful Parking Bill in the Philippines House of Representatives. This bill seeks to penalize individuals who block parking spaces physically. Proposed penalties include 2,000 pesos for first offense, 5,000 for second, and 6-month driver license suspension, and then 10,000 fine and removing your license after the third offense. The bill applies to both public and private parking areas and aims to reinforce the principle that parking should be a first-come, first-served basis. This legislation was proposed in response to increasing incidents of people attempting to reserve parking spots, particularly in shopping malls. Yeah, I don't have that problem because I don't drive, but I can only imagine this could even be a part-time job. Maybe people just standing around parking lots collecting like 50 pesos to 100 pesos, reserving spots or something. What do you think of that? Do you think people should have the right to just stand there because they're first? At least maybe the wife is like gone around or something? Or do you think, no, if you don't got a car, you cannot be in a parking space? And then a 57-year-old American man wanted by the FBI for child, once again, charges, was arrested in Nakhon Ratchasima for overstaying his visa. Thai police, acting on a tip, detained him and confirmed his identity through biometric scans. He faces deportation to the U.S. after legal proceedings in Thailand. Another country, not very good reputation. Another man caught for doing things he shouldn't be doing. You don't want to go to jail, and for those reasons specifically. And then in a tragic event, a United States Department of Defense contracted surveillance aircraft conducted intelligence operation at the request of Philippine authorities has been identified as a plane that crashed yesterday in Maguindanao del Sur. None of the 4 people on board survived. Another crash, another tragedy. May they rest in peace. Now here's an interesting story. Are vloggers and YouTubers making monkeys more aggressive? At Cambodia's Angkor Wat, YouTubers have been influencing the behavior of wild monkeys, leading to increased aggression towards tourists. The macaque native to the area have started attacking visitors, damaging temples, stonework, and destroying information boards. According to the Aspara national authorities, some YouTubers have been feeding and even abusing the monkeys to create viral videos. This has caused the animals to become more dependent on humans, leading to aggression behavior such as stealing food and biting people. Officials are now looking for ways to manage the problem while urging tourists to avoid interacting with the monkeys. Angkor Wat, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and Cambodia's top tourist attraction, has been receiving increased protection since 1992. Authorities are also considering a monkey census to help relocate particularly dangerous individuals. First of all, Angkor Wat, one of the most beautiful places I've ever been in my life. And luckily when I went there was about 10 years ago, before the whole tourist boom. Anyways, if you haven't been there, please put it on your go place list in Asia. Anyhow, so kind of interesting and not surprising at all, monkeys behaving this way after YouTubers and people with cameras continuously feed them. Which also, the whole whale shark, I think, is going to stop doing the same thing because you're messing with the natural flow of nature, you know. And then back to the Philippines, a habal driver, which is like a motorcycle taxi guy, who robbed a young female student in Barangay Guadalupe, Cebu City, was arrested last night, February 6th. The suspect, Jonas Dioso, 22, was apprehended by police after the victim, Michaela Magante Quenos, positively identified him. Authorities recovered the stolen Tecno Spark 48 phone worth 8,000 pesos, and the suspect is now in police custody. Come on, man, you stealing from a student? What you doing? I guess 22, you're a student. Anyways, despite all that, no reason to steal. It's not right. I guess this guy really needed the money or something. Regardless, this is why it's always best to use those official app hailing, like taxi sharing things, even if you're using motorcycles, because at least they're registered, or should be, and someone can be held accountable. And then 4 Israeli tourists were arrested and fined in Pai, Thailand, for causing disturbances at Pai Hospital. A doctor's Facebook post on aggressive doctor described ongoing issue with these individuals, including smoking on hospital grounds, stealing, damaging emergency room doors, and refusing medical procedures. Police reviewed security footage and confirmed that the tourists identified as Daniel, Aviv, Or, and Dan had intimidated hospital staff and attempted to enter restricted areas. They were each fined 3,000 bahts for harassment, that's like $90, and public disturbance. Following the public outcry and police investigation, Thai immigration authorities revoked their permits and ordered the deportation. The case underscores tension between some foreign tourists and locals and police. Here's the thing that pisses me off about people like this from any country, it doesn't matter. It's the sense of entitlement. Would you ever do that in your home country? Do you think going to Israel, Canada, Japan, wherever, you're going to behave this way in your local hospital? Come on, man. Don't take advantage of the locals' kindness. Let's go on to our next story. And then an American couple loses 15.2 million baht, that's over $440,000, in Hua Hin property scam. An American man and his Thai wife have fallen victim to a 15.2 million baht property scam in Hua Hin. I was just there. The couple had paid in installments for 2 plots of land and a luxury villa, only to discover the land had already been sold to another buyer under a redemption agreement. After demanding a refund, the real estate company issued 3 checks, 2 of which bounced. The couple is now seeking legal action, refusing to claim the house without rightful ownership of the land. Obviously, of course, man, go ahead. A legal advocate suspects the company and new landowner conspired to commit fraud, raising concerns over real estate scams in Thailand. Foreigners must be very cautious when buying. This is what I talked about during the live stream. I would never buy a property abroad, especially if it cannot own the land. At least this guy was married, but regardless, you can't, honestly, even people that you think would not scam you, there's a potential they would. You think this is like a reputable developer and so on and so forth, but one of those cases. Pattaya's mayor responded, stating that the city cannot ban people from resting on the beach, but will enforce rules against littering and disturbances. Authorities in Pattaya have increased monitoring and implementing fines for improper waste disposal. The city urges visitors to respect local regulations to maintain its reputation. Yes, what a wonderful reputation Pattaya has. All jokes aside, what do you guys think? Do you think it should be illegal for tourists just to lay and sleep on the beach? Or do you think, nah, not a big deal. They're just drunk or tired. They want to rest. Do you think they're taking advantage, that they don't want to pay any kind of money to stay at hotels? Maybe it's high season. Anything you want to share regarding people's sleeping on the beach? And then a resident was left shocked when a 3-meter-long fish-eating snake was found stuck in a toilet. Emergency responders had to break the toilet to remove the snake before safely releasing it back into the wild. Encounters with snakes in homes are common in Thailand, particularly in rural areas. Experts advise residents to flush toilets before using and ensure homes are secure to prevent such incidences. Meanwhile, the homeowner plans to use the house number 111 for a lottery ticket, believing the unusual encounter could bring good luck. Have you ever had a surprising visit from a snake in your toilet bowl? Speaking of toilet bowls, isn't the Super Bowl this weekend? I started watching football a while ago, but it was exciting at the time. Anyhow, what would you guys do if you tried to take a doo-doo or whatever and there's a snake coming up? I don't want to think about it. And then very quickly, South Korea authorities said Thursday all airports across the country will be ordered to install bird detection cameras and radars after the Jeju air crash that left 179 people that perished. I thought they would have all that in every airport. Kind of alarming to know if South Korea doesn't have it, then I wonder which other countries don't have it either. Okay, so I just got an email, kind of weird, saying they removed my Airbnb review because it wasn't authentic. Huh? I gotta look into that after, but okay. Cool, bro. It's authentic. And now time for what normally would have been our segment Yesterday Today, but we cannot do it today since the video of yesterday is going to be released after I make this video, since it got pushed back, so I apologize. Anyways, I can't do it. Cannot do it. There's no comments yet. But if you guys are curious, we had a wonderful live stream that I did this morning. Talked about 2 hours, and I want to thank everybody that participated in that, commenting, subscribing, liking, perhaps even sharing, but also donating to the channel. So thank you guys for being part of that live stream. I had a great time talking about all kinds of nonsense. I think I might start doing live streams a bit more because I feel like the community on Asia Now is very strong, and you guys are always just interacting, and yeah, love you guys for that. So perhaps sometime in the future, a lot more regular live streams coming. Although if you watch it now, the quality is pretty trash. It was fun at the time, but now I look back at it, it's very loud, street noise and all that. It was very spontaneous. Why does that happen to me often? Anyway, it was very spontaneous. I was having a coffee. I'm like, wait, I could probably do a live stream because the Wi-Fi from the cafe is right here. So I had a great time. Check that out if you guys want. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Doei.